it is Jessi and welcome back to my channel. So today, as you can probably tell by the title of this video, I am bringing you one of my favorite videos to do, and I know a lot of people like to watch these as well. I think it's just so interesting to see what other books kind of stood out throughout the year to different readers, to yourself. So again, this is going to be my top 10 favorite for the year of 2017. They were not all released in 2017, they're just the books that I read. And they're also in no particular order, so don't think that I'm ranking them by any means. And also, I would love to know what your guys' favorites were, so if we have any in common, or you had different ones that you really enjoyed, and like I said, were definitely a favorite, a book that's got you still thinking about it, or whatever the case may be, definitely comment below and let me know what your favorites are. Otherwise, this is the stack of 10 books that I have to chat with you guys about today. I'm going to try not to make this video super long, so I'm going to try to make these little mini reviews short and sweet and just kind of give you guys a little bit of info. If you want the full synopsis or more information on this book, or you want to buy it from Amazon, all that good stuff will be linked below for you. Alright, you guys, so the first book that I want to talk about is The Marriage Lie. This is by Kimberly Bell, and this was a book that I really enjoyed. I read it quickly, mainly because I have discovered that I love a good, unreliable narrator and a good character that just keeps you constantly guessing, and you don't know if you are getting the truth or if you're getting some version of some kind of a lie or what the heck is happening. So I love the whole unreliable kind of narrator thing. It was suspenseful. It was definitely a page turner and kept me guessing. I had no idea what was going on, and basically our character Iris finds out that her husband was involved in this plane accident and he wasn't where he was supposed to be going. So it raises all these questions, and she is out to basically uncover his secrets and figure out what he was doing, you know, and just get to the bottom of this. And so I think that part was super intriguing, and like I said, it just kept me flipping those pages. However, when it got to the ending, I just felt like it was so predictable. It was something I really, I saw coming. I was okay with it, but at the same time, it was just too easy of an ending, and I wanted more from it. So overall, it was a good read, but there was a couple little issues I had with it. But like I said, love the unreliable narrator and the storyline itself. So this one got 5 stars. Alright, you guys, so the next book was sent to me by HMH Books, and this one was a total surprise. It is On Turpentine Lane by Eleanor Lippman. I did not expect to love this as much as I did, and mainly the thing that I really liked about this was the writing style. I had never read anything by this author, so I didn't really know what to expect, and I absolutely loved it. So first of all, the story was nothing profound. The writing wasn't anything, besides the writing style. I just don't think that the story was anything special, nothing really big happened. It just seemed kind of like an everyday kind of life read. That's what makes this such a great beach read. And I want to let you guys know that the characters in this totally made it all. They were so well-rounded. The first and secondary characters, they had real life problems. It made it so easy to relate to them, and there's a lot of wit and humor and charm, and I just absolutely love this. I also really like when I'm trying to think, I don't even know now. But basically there's a house in here that takes on some human characteristics kind of thing. So I like when it gets personified and that it becomes a character in its own. So I think this was really cool to see something like this happen. And again, it wasn't anything special, but the characters made it so worth it. So I ended up giving this 5 stars. It kept me laughing, and I just really enjoyed it, and again, it makes for such a perfect beach read. The next one is It Happens All the Time by Amy Havani, and this one, you guys, is a very heavy read, but one that I feel is so important. It does have some trigger issues in here, or some trigger warnings that I want to let you guys know about. It does deal with some heavy topics, like I had mentioned, depression, anxiety. There's also acquaintance rape, and I think what makes this so important is it raises a lot of questions. It really does make you stop and think about what would you do in this situation, and I like the fact too that you got it from both sides, so you didn't just get it from one side or the other. You actually got to see both sides kind of unravel. So this follows Amber and Tyler, who are best friends from childhood, and they kind of grow up together, and they remained just friends She goes off to college. Eventually she graduates. She comes back home. Tyler is still in their hometown. She is at her parents' house. She is engaged, but her and Tyler kind of reconnect. They end up going to this party together and things kind of just get out of hand. And so that's when everything starts to unravel at this point. And like I said, I think it's an important read that deals a lot with acquaintance rape and making you stop and think about some of these issues that I don't think get enough light shed on them. So this is one that was a little heavier, but still really good read that I think everyone should give it a go. So this also got 5 stars. All right, so the next one is a spin-off to a book that I read, I believe in either I think it was 2016 actually, and it was a debut. So then when the sequel or spin-off came out, I was so excited to get it. I absolutely loved the first one, and it is called Southernmost by Sarah Sadler. You guys probably know that I love a really good like Southern romance, and this one does so much more than just that, but that is like a heavy piece to this, and I absolutely loved it. So we have this character, Kayla, who's given this ultimatum by this guy that she was seeing. They have a daughter together, and he basically says, if you don't move down here, I'm gonna cut off all like support. And so she moves there. So not only is she trying to figure out a new town and how to take care of her daughter, but she's trying to find herself. So watching her character evolve, why she's taking care of this daughter and everything was just so great to see the character growth throughout this novel. It was especially because Kayla was a character that I didn't really care about in the first book. So seeing all these other layers and all these pieces kind of come full circle was really awesome. I also love that it has a lot of drama. Again, there's that romance, and there's some really funny characters that just have me laughing constantly, like Lil. I just cannot get enough of her character. And then on top of all of that, you have some of the most amazing descriptions, not only of the environment in the South, but this one brings in a lot of foodie aspects, which I was just like in heaven over, and it definitely made me want to go down to the South and just dive into some delicious cuisines. So this one definitely got 5 stars as well. If you can't tell, all of these are 5-star reads because they are my favorites. So the next one is also a Southern read. This is The Hideaway by Lauren K. Denton, quickly becoming a really favorite author of mine. She is so sweet, and I absolutely loved the writing and the story of this book. We follow our main character whose grandma passes away, leaves her this B&B. She goes there to check it out, basically tie up some of the loose ends with the estates and her grandma and everything, and ends up falling in love with this B&B. And I think what is one of the coolest elements of this story is the fact that she obviously knew her grandma, but they weren't really close, and she gets to find out so much more about her grandma through the B&B, through her friends that had lived there, and then community as well. So her kind of flipping this B&B, which was amazing, a bunch of DIYs, kind of like a fixer-upper kind of deal, and then seeing that she also ran a shop that had a lot of DIY kind of touches as well in New Orleans. So again, a lot of elements that I really connected with and I absolutely loved. Again, the B&B took on like a human characteristic, and it almost became like a character in itself. So obviously I've already raved about that, and you know that you guys know that I love that element. Oh, holy moly, that was super difficult to get out. So yes, besides all these sweet do-it-yourself like things happening and the fact that she gets to find more about her grandma after the grandma's passing, you also have a little romance tie-in here, so it wouldn't be a great Southern fiction read without that. So again, such a wonderful story. I easily just breezed through this. This would also make a great beach read or summer read if you guys are looking to add something to your list for that as well. Okay, so we're going to change pace here a little bit and go to a YA. This is the only YA that I actually have on this list, and it is one that I got to meet the author. I got it autographed at Y'all West, and she was absolutely the sweetest. And this book is such an incredible YA. Not only did I love it, but it seemed like the whole book community was really raving about it too. So that it was really cool to see that not only was I obsessed with it, but everyone else was too. And this is When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandaya Menon, and this is, you guys, like the cutest, most adorable little story that I have ever read. And I breezed through this. It was a little bit cliche at times, but you don't even care because it's so freaking cute that you just roll with the punches and you just keep going, and it's got so many entertaining, funny moments. that you just fall in love with these characters. And basically we have Dimple, who wants to be this like strong, career-driven woman, and her parents are very traditional and just want her to settle down and get married. And then you have Rishi's family, who is already setting him up in a arranged marriage, and he knows about all of it. Dimple does not. So they have this really awkward little meet cute at this camp that she goes to for, or they go to for this like coding kind of thing. So I think it was great to see that aspect of her kind of wanting to be this strong woman in this field. And then, yeah, so they have this awkward meet cute. You see things go terribly wrong, and then you see this friendship start to form. And you guys, I don't want to spoil really anything about this other than what I've said. You guys, that's all you really need to know. Just pick it up, read it, and I promise you guys will think this is the most adorable little story ever as well. This is a YA book that is going to stick with me for a while, and Zendaya does have another release coming out, and I hope that it can top this, because this one had such high regards that I don't know if this one will ever get knocked down, because I love it so much. We're going to switch pace again and go into some more mystery and thrillers, and this is one that I've read recently and it has still been playing with my mind. It is Good Me, Bad Me by Ali Eland, and this is another debut that was absolutely incredible and totally rocked my world. At first, I wasn't in love with the writing style of this. I just couldn't seem to jump on board with it, but as you continue with the story, it almost turns out to kind of play into the storyline and becomes like a really important element, I felt, and so I ended up really enjoying it. But like I said, I had to stick through a couple chapters and kind of get going before it like worked for me. And what really got me going in this is you open up with this daughter who is basically turning in her mother, who is a serial killer. And so I've got this weird obsession with these serial killers. If you guys hang out with me at all, you will know that I loved You and Hidden Bodies by Carolyn Kepnes. They are still some of my top books that I just love and adore so much. Like, Joe is the most lovable, unreliable character who you know you shouldn't like, but you really do. I also felt that way with the TV show Dexter, so this one just fit right in because, like I said, she's turning in the mom, and you have this whole case starting to unravel. You see the daughter trying to decide whether she's going to be the good version of herself or be the bad version of herself and follow in her mother's footsteps and the things that she does and this game that they play. And it really messes with your mind, you guys. Like, I was constantly thinking I had things figured out, and then it would be flipped and something else would happen. And I'd be like, well, didn't see that coming. So this was definitely a gripping, really quick read that I really enjoyed, and I think you guys would too. This next one was sent to me by Amazon Publishing, Thomas and Mercer, and it is by Rachel Kane. It is called Stillhouse Lake. This does have a sequel that I am dying to get my hands on, and seriously, from the moment this book opened, I was addicted. I couldn't put it down. I had to know what was happening. It was so fantastic. So we basically follow this mom who has her two kids. They're on their way home from school. They pull up to their house. It is surrounded by cop cars. There's a car that is like partially through their garage, revealing this giant crime scene. Turns out her husband is a serial killer, and she had no idea. And so she takes the kids and runs. She is constantly thinking that she's being followed. She is very paranoid. She's trying to protect her kids and be like a wonderful mom, and you know, at the same time, still try to let them be kids and grow up. And so I think there was this really weird balance trying to happen. And she's very controlling, and the kids think, you know, this is just an overprotective, like paranoid mom. And there turns out it's a reason she is like that, because little things start happening. You start to see that either the copycat or the husband himself is like basically tracking her down, and she's on the run, and all of this crazy madness just starts to happen towards the end. So it leaves you on this cliffhanger. It leaves you wanting more, and so I just can't wait to continue. But this was a book that I just instantly fell in love with and didn't want to put down, and every person that I've recommended it to has loved it as well. So this, you guys, I feel like is so underrated, and you guys should definitely pick it up. It is amazing. All right, so these next two books would actually make the top 1 and 2 on my list, because both of them are ones that I have raved about over and over, that I really haven't been able to stop thinking about, that are constantly on my mind, that I'm constantly recommending to people, and I just feel like they totally surprised and shocked me, and just really moved me. And these are the books that are going to stay with me for a lot longer as well. So this first one is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have heard so much about Taylor's work, and I have a couple of her books and I just never got around to reading them, and this was the first one that I got. And I wasn't sure what to expect with this book. But what I can tell you guys is it is so much more than I ever expected it to be. It deals with all kinds of topics and issues and things that I feel like were a little bit ahead of its time for this book anyways. And I think the characters were so in-depth and so well-rounded and so like well thought out and relatable and down to earth. And I just literally, like Evelyn herself, I cannot get over. She was the most incredible character that just, I really felt for her. Like, you literally get all the feels in this. I mean, it is an incredible piece of work. I really don't want to say anything involving the story because I want you guys to figure it all out for yourself. Just dive in and read it. But like I said, it evokes so many powerful emotions. It talks about some really thought-provoking and important topics, and it's just, like I said, it's an important read. It's amazing. It will change the way you think about certain things, and these characters are just so amazing. So I absolutely loved it. It was not at all what I expected, and totally shocked and surprised me, and I'm in love with it, and I can't wait to reread it because it is absolutely amazing. And lastly, you guys, is, oh, I can't wait to share. Although I've been raving about it for a very long time, you guys can probably guess what it's going to be if you haven't seen it listed yet, and you guys may be able to get it, but if you don't, it is A Castle of Water by Dane Huckelbridge, and he actually sent this to me himself, so thank you so much, Dane, for sending it my way. It is amazing. Where do I even begin with this, you guys? Like, all I want to do is like, it was so good. And this is one of those books that I wish I hadn't read so that I could reread it again for the first time. We follow two characters who are on this plane together. They are not connected in any way. This plane crashes and it's basically up for survival. And so it's just really interesting. So, okay, so it doesn't sound like, I mean, overall, this storyline doesn't seem to move overly fast, and there's nothing super dramatic that happens once they've crashed. But it is a slow build that will get you. It is up and down, and it makes you just totally fall in love with these characters and the descriptions of the island, between the sights that they can see, the smells, the things that they can touch. So yes, the story may be a slow build, but the descriptions and the characters were so great. They were fantastic. I absolutely loved them and cannot get enough. Like I said, I wish I could reread this for the first time and just gush about it all over again. This is one that I will definitely be rereading multiple times in the future. I will definitely give this as gifts. Like, I love this. It's going to be hard to knock this out of my all-time favorites because it's just, I loved every moment of it so much. So one last thing that I do want to say is it was beautiful and heartbreaking, and I loved it. All right, so really quickly, I just want to give like a honorary mention to two other books that I really enjoyed, that I talk about a lot as well, but just didn't quite make the top 10 cut. And one of them, they're actually from the same series, Sugar Pine Trail and Snow Angel Cove. I read both this year. They're from the Haven Point series. I talk about this series constantly. It is so amazing. These are perfect holiday reads, although some of them don't take place on the holidays. So you can read them really any time of year, but I absolutely love reading this towards the end of the year. They're perfect holiday reads. They kind of feel like Hallmark movies, so if you're like me and you're obsessed with that and can't seem to turn it off, pick up one of these and it'll get you through that season. They're so delightful. I love the town of Haven Point, the descriptions of the town, the people in the town, the love stories. It is just one series that is becoming a guilty pleasure because I will sit down and devour these like no tomorrow. So I love these. And then the next one is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, and this one I had some issues with. I didn't really like Tate that much. I just don't feel like her character was that profound to me. She didn't really have a lot of growth. I don't feel like she had a lot of just things that I connected with. But Miles, on the other hand, I loved his little flashbacks. I loved getting to see why he is the way he is, or what's happened to him to shape him like to be this character, and why he was so cold and hard. Seeing their relationship kind of develop and the different things. I mean, it evokes a lot of emotions. It definitely has some mature content, but I thought this was really great. Again, I just love Colleen Hoover's kind of romance and some of the feelings that she kind of brings up, and they, you know, are very quick, easy reads, so I enjoyed this one as well. All right, you guys, so these were the 10 books that ended up making my top 10 favorite lists for 2017. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If we had some favorites, again, comment below. Let me know if you had a different favorite list or just one in general that really stood out to you. Definitely leave that below as well. I would love to chat favorites with you guys down below in the comments, so definitely feel free to drop me a comment. Let's get some interaction going, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for being here. Bye.